A few months ago, after my breakup, I kept replaying every mistake I made. I thought if I had just done this differently or said that differently, that things would have worked out. And for weeks, I was carrying guilt around with me. And there's a cost of carrying that guilt. And if you don't fix that problem or fix the things you're going through, then you'll stay stuck in that regret. You'll keep replaying the past. You'll avoid taking risk. You'll lose confidence in yourself. You know, all these things, they are a byproduct of you harping on your failures and your mistakes. And what worked out for me is it was these four things that helped me overcome my mistakes and the things that I did while I was in a relationship, or just even thinking back to that situation. And I got 4 points for y'all, and I'm gonna start with point one. I accepted the mistake. Now, what I did, like I said, it was nothing insane. I thought that, it was time for me to be single, and I wanted to fully be able to focus on me and myself and my other goals that I had going on. And at the time I was injured, so I had a lot going on. But even though I did make this mistake of, hurting this person I love, I had to, as much as I hated that I did it, I had to accept that fact, and that's really the first step of recovering from any mistake or failure. You have to accept that you have failed or made that mistake or decision. And that leads us to the point number two. I extracted the lesson. So what I learned from that mistake was to also not act or make certain decisions based off of impulse decisions or based off of emotional spikes. Like, for instance, if you're very mad, I wouldn't make a critical decision while you're angry or sad. Just definitely, it taught me to learn how to sit with things before I react and before I make a big decision. I applied the lesson. So after me learning to use my brain and critically think before and assess before I make any decision and be very intentful about my decisions, in all of my decisions in day-to-day life now are because of that. And that it taught me to really just sit with things, and I applied it to my life, and now it's made it way better, and I'm more intentful with what I do as far as decisions I make. Like, it is way more intentful. It's not just an impulse or I feel this way, so I'm gonna do that. And I'm very disciplined. It's just, I still did struggle with certain critical decisions, I'd say. And then that leads us to point number four. I moved forward without carrying that guilt. And guys, if you do not have, or if you do not find a way to move forward from your mistake without carrying all that past guilt, pain, trauma with it, then you're constantly keeping yourself in a loop, and you're really never gonna grow from it because you're still stuck in the past. And in order to grow from something, you have to let go of that. Like, you have to let go of the pain, the past, the decision. You have to let go of it, because if you're not, it's kind of, your brain is getting tricked into thinking you're in that situation still right now. So you don't want to just self-sabotage yourself by constantly harping and feeling guilty. You just have to understand that the person that made that decision then is not the same person that is sitting here right now. And you have to truly understand and realize that, because that's the truth. That person, even if it was a week ago, you change. Your cells themselves change every second. So literally, by definition, you're a completely different person, because old cells die, new cells begin. Same, you know what I'm saying? So you have to learn how to move forward and forget about it and have an open heart with it, because if you don't, then you're kind of how should I say, you're kind of attracting all of that pain back, and you're kind of attracting the same situation back because you're not truly growing from it, because you're stuck in that same mind frame that was in that situation in general, because you're not letting it go. So you're literally going back in time and you're reliving it in your head instead of saying, okay, I made this mistake. I know it was terrible. I shouldn't have done it. But at the same time, I can learn from this and I can grow from this. And that's exactly how you're supposed to do it. Right there. Because if you don't, like I said, you'll always be stuck. And we have to move forward in life, because nothing is stopping or being stuck for us. Time don't stop. The sun don't stop. Nothing stop. Everything is constantly going. So you have to be able to forget all that pain, have an open heart, and be open to not only opportunities or certain relationships. You have to be open. That way you can grow and become the person that is truly aligned to your higher self and the person you want to be. So that being said, just let go of all of those past mistakes and decisions. I promise you, I've been there before. I promise you, you're not the same person. I know it might feel like, you're terrible or whatever, but you're not terrible. As long as you learn from your mistake and your bad decision, then you're completely fine. From then on there, you are a changed person. As soon as you make that decision to learn from that mistake and not go back into the same patterns and fall into the same traps. I love y'all. Let go of that past pain and past failures. Let go of all that. Have an open heart. All right. I love y'all. Have a good day. Stay appreciative. Stay grateful. And Trey out.